Yo, what's going on, friends? How's it going? And welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that, and welcome back to, I suppose, Chelsea news. Guys, this is not going to be an edited video like this, the video earlier today. This will be a straight shoot-in reaction to, at Lou Class saying Chelsea have a new front of shirt main sponsor soon to be announced, Oracle. A company linked to Clear Lake Capital. Who knew? We're going to react to what he said, what the company said. Yeah, and I will, we'll leave it at that. And I'll, of course, follow up with more detailed Chelsea news videos as they come. I will actually say, early doors here, go check out this morning's video because we react to the new signing, the new young centre-back that Chelsea signed for an agreement, a pre-agreement, the same way Esteva was. And, of course, we look at what Fofana said about his reintegration. There's some injury news. There's some under-21s, Chelsea players scoring. And, of course, you guys have really enjoyed the stats stuff I've done recently on the channel. So we do like a statistical deep dive and a reminder of what we're missing in Cole Palmer, who, hopefully, touch wood, will be returning after this international break. So we're going to get into that. I got into that, should I say. Go check out that video, but we're going to get into this front of shirt sponsor thing. I will thank you, as always, for supporting the content. If you want to do that, you just drop a like on the video. You can hype it up as well somewhere down here. And, of course, we're getting so close to 200,000 subscribers, which is an amazing achievement for me, a wonderful milestone. So thank you to all of you who have subscribed to Football Therapy. Right, so at Lou_class on X, who is a football business account that, breaks down numbers of sponsorship deals and partnerships. Essentially, it's like a footballing sponsorship expert, I guess. You've probably seen me reference him before. He posted this on X. Chelsea are close to announcing. So when you're close to announcing, that will infer that you have completed. Close to an announcement means a completion of a deal. By the way, also, I'm aware that Chelsea's young Kazakhstani striker Dastin is scored against Belgium in a European qualifier. I'll probably be annexing that onto tomorrow's news video. But back to this front of shirt sponsor. Chelsea are close to announcing a new front of shirt sponsor. The Oracle deal, so yeah, we'll talk about Oracle in a moment, is reportedly tied to broader investments by Clear Lake Capital. Wow, who knew? Who knew after this huge and, let's be frank, embarrassing delay that we would wind up eventually with a sponsor somehow broadly linked to Clear Lake Capital, the investors, the owners, the majority ownership of Chelsea and the Blueco Consortium. The deal is expected to last until the end of the current season. It's Infinite Athlete / Damac. I was going to say Infinite Athlete 2.0, but it's temporary sponsor 3.0 because Infinite Athlete was one season, but it was earlier than this. Obviously, we're nearly we're about over a third through this season. We got Infinite Athlete shortly after the beginning of the Pochettino campaign, and then we got Damac right at the end of Maresca's first year. So this is somewhere in the middle, another temporary thing. The deal is expected to last to the end of the current season. Oracle will pay significantly less than the club initially expected. Okay, so we'll break this down just a moment. Quickly, Oracle is an American multinational technology company founded in 1977. The headquarters are in Austin, Texas. It's known for cloud infrastructure. It's a global provider for cloud infrastructure and software, known for its database management systems and growing focus on cloud computing and funnily enough, artificial intelligence, which you can't get away from my eyes at the moment. It's all over the gaff. So it's a tech company. Chelsea are getting a front of shirt sponsor from a tech company till the end of the season. Now, this was clearly being negotiated for a while. To me, if I'm going to speculate here, and why the ruddy heck not, because this is where we're at the moment. I reckon they were always looking to do maybe a temporary deal until they know exactly. I mean, what's holding us back from a long-term 5-year deal of a main front of shirt sponsor? Because you can tell me, you can speculate in the comments, because I don't really know, mate, because we've got, the Club World Cup badge on the front of the shirt for another 3.5 years or whatever, which is, will be good for a front of shirt sponsor. You've got, champions of the world next to your brand. That can only be a good thing. And the longer you wait, by the way, you devalue that additional, feature. So when you freaking mess around for a year like we're doing, getting a temporary front of shirt sponsor, this is like, that's 25% off the time you're going to have that status next to a front of shirt sponsor. It might be real trivial. Maybe I'm like, over egging that a little bit, but I do think that's silly. Back in the Champions League, got a very young team that you can sort of put the farm on being good and getting better over this next 5 years period. A 5-year period where, because I'm using 5 years as an example. I know that's average player contracts if you're not Chelsea. Maybe they're trying to do a 9-year deal like they do with the players. But it usually is around a 5-year deal when you sign with a new main front of shirt sponsor. So I thought we were in such a strong position to nail someone down for just a 5-year deal. I really do. So what's stopping us? What's stopping us, and why? I guess if I'm being very, very kind, maybe there's if people are looking at it from a sporting perspective, they might be thinking, right, you are back in the Champions League, which is great, but how are you going to re-qualify for the Champions League playing in the Champions League? Of course, doing it while you're playing in the conference is one thing, and when you're a team like Chelsea, you're expected to do that. But if you can show with your children, with your team of children, we're not sponsoring, I don't know, PSG, Barcelona, Bayern, when we know you're going to relentlessly win and be in the Champions League. If you can prove with this kindergarten team of yours that you are going to consistently be in the Champions League, then we will go, yeah, all right, mate, we will be inclined to, to agree a deal with you, to agree this far long-term deal. I can't think of because obviously Chelsea want more money than sponsors are willing to pay, but at the same time, they're meant to be money people, Blueco, Clear Lake Capital. They're meant to, evaluate the market appropriately. So any market, whether it's the housing market or something, you only get paid what people are willing to pay, and that's what governs market price, right? So they've obviously had plenty of time, and they have had plenty of time to evaluate what the sponsors are willing to pay. So they've got that number, and what's stopping them from just going, all right, well, let's just do this? To the point where they think, actually, we'll sign a temporary deal for 2/3 of the season with Oracle, that will be worth it because for some reason, maybe in the summer of 2026, that we know that X friggin' sponsor is going to come in, Mercedes-Benz, Bank of America, pick Qatar Airways. We know next summer, when they see us qualify for the Champions League again, they're going to go, all right, you're worth a 5-year deal at 60 million a year or something. Do you know what I mean? So Oracle are paying a lot less than Chelsea expected. I wonder what that is. Well, the fact how it's two-thirds of a season, if they want 60, that it would be, the actual price now would be 40. So to pay a lot less, maybe they're paying 25 million for the rest of the season. I'm guessing that. I'll be very interested to find out the actual financial figure, when it's published, if and when the actual figure is published. Because we did learn that we got 40 million for Infinite Athlete, which seemed pretty good, actually. And again, they have links to the Chelsea ownership. So very interesting to hear that they're doing this temporary one. And maybe I don't know, maybe they're keeping their powder dry, Chelsea, Blueco. They're thinking, you know what, yeah, we have been off. Maybe they were offered I'm going to, again, just guess and create a theoretical story here. Last summer, we've just won the Conference League, the Club World Cup, with Stevao's joining. He's just scored against us, for Palmeiras. It's all quite exciting. Reece James is playing football again. Cole Palmer's dropping masterclasses. Everyone, you've qualified for the Champions League as well as 2 trophies. Everyone's happy. Maybe there was a deal on the table for what would be described as good money, but not great money. Say like 50 million a year or something when they wanted 60, 65. Bearing in mind, the Man United, who have not been a good football team for ages, that's is it Snapdragon or something? The processor main sponsor. And again, I realise Man United are the biggest club in England. They're bigger than Chelsea by some margin. That's 70 million a year, and it's a record. It's 70 million a year. Obviously, Chelsea have huge ambitions sportingly and especially financially. Maybe they were thinking, obviously we can't get that, but maybe we can get over 60. And it turns out there wasn't something for over 60. And then maybe there was something for 50, but they might have thought, you know what, we can win the Champions League next year with Maresca. Maresca's a good cup coach. He's just won 2. He's just won the Conference League and the Club World Cup against the European champions. Maybe we can actually win the Champions League, and boy, then we'll be in a position to demand what we want. I mean, I don't know. The main thing as well that we can't escape with all this is that it's just really embarrassing. Yeah. Matt Law said this on the London is Blue podcast with Nick Villaney, friend of mine, great podcast. They were talking about the front of shirt sponsor. Is there any news? He seems to say no, so obviously this one slipped by Matt Law, although I don't know if he's keeping tabs particularly on the sponsorship closely. But I'm sure he'll be briefed now by Chelsea, and he'll put an article on the Telegraph, as will the Athletic, etc., etc. But he was saying, look, for these people who came in and bought Chelsea, and there's, as much as like every now and again I praise them for certain things, you need to criticise them. They came in and said, right, they looked at the books when they bought Chelsea, when it was seized off Abramovich, and they said, right, Chelsea's a great club, great real estate, whatever, great potential, global brand, buying as an asset. But one of the main reasons why we're buying Chelsea is it's really poorly run, like under Abramovich. You just throw money at it, and which is fine. It was great for us fans, but as like a business, it was bad. And actually, there is elements of how it's now being run where you future-proof yourself a little bit more. The Man City were relentlessly good because they were sort of building in a certain way and future-proofing themselves with a structure. We never did that under Abramovich, so I welcomed that in. Basically, that was an element I did. But they looked at the club financially and data-wise and said, this is really poorly run. This is not, you're not at all maximizing revenue with all these financial facets of, partnerships and marketing. Of course, sporting data as well, they were big on, and building a team and contracts, and, letting Christensen and Rudiger go on for free to the Clasico Spanish giants was an absolute travesty, and they had a lot of criticisms. But one thing they're supposed to be good at, Clearlake, is being the money boys, and to come in and to relentlessly fail with the biggest representation of this should be what your muscle should do. Front of shirt sponsor, the main sponsor, the big boy. You're all about, marketing and sponsorship deals. To fail relentlessly for 3 years or whatever it is nothing short of a really embarrassing. It needs to be said. Anyway, Oracle. So there you go. Oracle to the end of the season. Give it Oracle to end the season. Funny. Yes, so there you go. There's my reaction. If you're yet to watch this morning's video, I'll gently urge you to go and watch it. It's the upload before this one. So it's very, very easy to find. And hope to see you back here soon. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the content. And take care. Peace.